Welcome back, Stasa23 here, back again with some knife therapy, and today's gonna be a fun video. This was a fun knife to test and prepare to present to y'all. And the knife is the Quiet Carry Drift. Quiet Carry, as you can see, is definitely a brand that I thoroughly enjoy. This was the first one I got. This is the slip joint, the Weston, I think. It's D2 and titanium, and that's pretty much how he started into the scene with D2 and titanium. And they all have the signature 4 holes, so you can definitely tell if it's Quiet Carry. It's got my custom endo on there. Then then this beauty came along, the Quiet Carry IQ. It started out in VG10, then he upgraded to LMAX. Here's your holes, titanium, LMAX blade with a Peters heat treat on it. This is one of my best performing knives that I have, and one of my favorite gentleman's carry right here. Absolutely love this knife. Then I went to the Quiet Carry Chase. Those handles just, ooh, they took me in just because I don't have anything like that. It's an acrylic material. There's your 4 holes. This guy started out in Bowler N690, and then he wanted to upgrade it because he listened to his feedback from his, reviewers and customers, and they wanted an upgraded steel. So I think he did it in 20 CV, and every one of these knives are like silky smooth, really, really smooth. Great. All of them so far have been great EDC knives, and this is no exception. And then I think this blade right here, I could be wrong, but I think that it's the folder version of the current model. This is probably my favorite fixed blade because I live in the South, very humid, and this guy is in LC200N, so I don't have to worry about this guy rusting. It's pretty nice and thin blade stock with that high flat grind. It cuts really nicely, comfortable. You have nice contour G10 handles, removable scales on there. Just a great package. Nice Kydex sheath that has a great click to it. And as you see, you got the logo on there. They don't ever, skip anything. They really think it out, and this one just took it to another notch there. This is the packaging right here. It comes in this box with the little foam insert. And then inside the box, you get a thank you for your purchase card with your limited lifetime warranty on there. So let's get into this knife. Before this is a 30-minute video. I've already tried this video once, and it was way too long. Like I said, this is the Quiet Carry Drift. I'm not certain on the price yet, but I did see that Urban EDC Supplies has an exclusive version of this, and they're selling it for $315. It's got the satin blade and the blue titanium scales. And after I'm done talking about the knife, I'm going to let you decide whether you think it's worth the price or not. To me, well, you'll see. You can get this, and it'll be available in several configurations. I don't know if they're all going to come out at the same time, but this is a stonewash. You can also get it satin blasted frame, and he's going to have an all murdered out and PVD coated, and that one looks really, really sexy. And he said something about what was it? It's a knurled version, so I guess the handle's knurled. I'm not sure, but just stay tuned. Check out his Instagram if you want to know more about it. To me, this knife screams everything that I look for in a nice EDC, a true EDC blade. And I'm not the only one that thinks that. This knife right here won the best EDC knife of 2019 at Blade Show West, and I think it well deserves that. Sometimes the knives that get chosen for that, I don't think, I'm like, how did they pick that knife? But this, I totally understand, and I'm sure if you had it in your hand, you would feel the same. So now that we're 4 minutes in, let's get into it. You have this nice attractive stonewashed drop point blade, Quiet Carry right here on the blade. I love that stone wash, nice and sexy. A blade hole that's been chamfered all the way around. You have first star of the show, Vanex Super Clean. Vanex, from what I know, this is the first knife I've had in this, but I know it's a really good exotic steel. It's a nitrogen-based steel, powdered steel, from Bowler, Udahome. And I know it has great corrosion resistance. I think similar to LC200N, except it can hold an edge longer than LC200N. It has good toughness and even better wear resistance. And like I said, I'm no expert on steel, but I do have some buddies that I go to if I want to know more about it. And the first person that I definitely suggest is checking out Big Brown Bear here on YouTube. On Instagram, I think it's Triple B Handmade or something like that. He is super knowledgeable about steels and, you know, what's good and bad about them. And also my buddy Steve with Super Steel Steve here on YouTube, and Chef Kalari on Instagram. Another great dude that knows a lot about steels too. There's several out there. Just seek them out if you want to know more. So you have this very corrosion resistant blade of Vanex Super Clean. Plus you got this nice, look how thin that is. This thing is a slicing machine. That thin, high flat grind, almost a full flat grind. The average behind the edge thickness is 14 thousandths at 16 degrees per side. So this thing has been a cutting whiz. And being that they're using such an exotic steel, they didn't, you know, it would have sucked if they would have just used any, like, any standard heat treater that, might not have taken it to its full potential. But no, he didn't do that. He took this to Peter's Heat Treat, so it definitely has a good heat treat. They're the same ones that do Striders, and tons of other great knife makers out there use them. Their reputation, exceeds themselves. So very happy about that. You do have a forward choil that I can use. It is kind of small, so if you have big fat sausage fingers, it might not fit your finger. The jimping is done perfectly. It's not too wide to where when you bear down, it hurts really bad to do that. But whenever you bear down, it will lock your thumb. But I mean, you can pass your finger on it all day. It's not going to hurt it. That's a closer look at that jimping. Perfectly done jimping. I love it. To go with this super corrosion resistant blade steel, you have completely corrosion resistant titanium, all titanium hardware. And as you can see, I love how he did this. Like I said, he thinks about all the aspects of the knife. He tried to keep it as clean as he could here. You don't see any hole for, you don't see any lanyard hole on the show side, the presentation side. You got capped female screw sleeves on this side, so you don't have any torques on there. Just very, very clean. And that's why the black one looked really clean, because it's all blacked out. And then flip it over this way, your lock bar, he thought about that too. Lock bar insert is LC200N, so you don't have to worry about that rusting. And the pocket clip, he thought about that too. And the pocket clip is made out of 316 marine grade stainless, so you don't have to worry about that rusting. They use the beloved wire pocket clip. I like these pocket clips a lot because they don't catch on things, and they don't scratch your car as bad if you get hit, because everything's rounded. And the retention is nice and strong. You don't have to worry about it coming out of your pocket, but it goes in and out of the pocket really nicely because of the smooth titanium. So as you can see, they did think about you lanyard people out there. As you can see, the lanyard hole goes here, and it goes through where you can just pull it right there. Genius, great idea. That serves both sides, the net lanyard people and the non-lanyard people. You do have an over travel that's built into the insert. You do have flat scales. Let me close this up. You do have flat scales, but as you can see, they got a nice deep chamfer going all the way around the scales. So nice and comfortable, no sharp spots that shouldn't be sharp. Also, I don't know if I just said this or not, he kept this clean too by putting the lock relief on the inside. I love seeing that. And, you know, he probably thought about this as well, where this pocket clip landed. If that relief would be on this side, your pants would bunch up in there every time you go to pull it out, and that would be a miserable mess. So well thought out there as well. Let's see. I don't want to miss anything because this thing just deserves some attention. It's got T8 throughout. As you can see, even got T8 right here as well. And they're nice and deep. When I turn them to the side, you can see how deep that pivot screw is. And very crisp. They're very well done. I like that. I get into those technical things. And look, as you can see, this is a magnet. Nothing's magnetic. The only thing that'll be magnetic is the pocket clip and the lock bar being this LC200N, or the insert, that is, because all the hardware is titanium, like I said. Let's see. The size on this guy is like I said, perfect for that, you know, mid-size EDC. You know, it's a 7-inch total length on this guy with a 3-inch blade. So this, it's nice, could be legal in a lot of areas. The thickness of the handles, 0.36. That's super thin. Pretty much no footprint in the pocket. You know, you won't even notice it's there. And another thing, like I said, it's got a thin blade stock. That blade stock's 0.089. That's nice and thin. It's thinner than a Delica. It's thinner than a Bug Out. It's thinner than a lot of production knives. And because of it, it slices great. As you can see, there's a chamfer all along top right here. So nothing sharp up there at all. Well done. This guy's a featherweight. I've been carrying it every day since it got to me. And it's been a joy to carry. I forgot it's in my pocket many times. And it always did its job. Let's see, I don't want to miss anything. I talked about hardware. Yep. So let's get a weight. We'll do some size comparisons, and then I'm just gonna had to really dig deep to find things, just little minor nitpicks that I noticed, and definitely not deal breakers though. There you go, 2.68 ounces. So that falls in that ounce an inch for all those people who are die hard on that. That's not something I ever really think about, but some people like it. So there you go. Almost 1-to-1 perfect blade to handle ratio. The knife is perfectly centered, dead on. Your deployment, I don't know if I showed this. I'm getting the video I just did confused. That blade hole, you can spotty flick it. You can thumb flick it, and then you can slow roll it, and then you can do the spotty drop too, like that. All that very easily because it's nice and smooth. It's riding on phosphor bronze washers, as you can see in there. And I'm not sure, it feels like it has a detent ball ramp. Let me see, I got a flashlight right here. Let's see if I can kind of look in there. It's either has a detent ball ramp or it's at the perfect position, because it doesn't, you don't feel it jumping over the detent ball. Well, let me pull it off camera real quick. I don't want to blind y'all. It may have a slight one. Like I said, it functions perfectly. Like when you break it right there, that's where the detent ball is. And I mean, literally, you don't see it like popping or anything. It's very, very easy to get past it. Let's get some size comparisons out of the way so you can get an idea of, how big this knife is, really. You have the Hall of Famer, the Spyderco Delica, or, just a great EDC knife as well. Delica's just a tad bit longer. You have pretty close to the same size grip area in these two knives. You might have a little bit more in the Delica. Benchmade Bug Out. The Bug Out's a good bit bigger of a knife, but when it comes to thinness, Look, they're pretty much the same. That's how it kind of feels in hand, like how it feels your hand like that. And I love the bug out. The next is your Monterey Bay Knives Min Pin with my custom anno on it. Now these two are pretty darn close. The Min Pin's just a tad bit shorter, as you can see. And you have more grip area in the drift. And the Wii Rectifier, it's another one that's very, very similar in size. Probably the closest in size that I've shown so far. You have a better grip on this guy than this one, being that you have this flipper tab and you have a wider choil there. I just find it feels better in hand. And two more quick ones, and then we'll try to wrap it up. You got the Giant Mouse Ace Biblio, which is a little bit shorter than the Drift, and the Elijah Isham Abstruse, which is also just a tad bit shorter. Wearing my anno. Whoop. All right, so let me dive into the few nitpicks. And you know, like I said, these are just nitpicks and definitely not deal breakers, at least not to me. And I know the folks over at Quiet Carry like, you know, to hear any of the issues that someone may have found, because they like to fix those things. And, you know, they might not be able to fix them on this one, being that they already did a run, but they'll fix it on the next knife. You know, they thought of pretty much everything. So, you know, after Karen used it, the things that I, you know, kind of noticed, I wrote them down like normal. And first thing, the forward finger chaw could have been extended a little bit longer. Like I said, it fits my hands, but I know if you have a, you know, if you have a large hand or fat fingers, it might not, you know, it might not be too safe for you. You know, I don't know. It's still a good functioning knife when you choke back like this. Another thing, you know, this is, I can go both ways on this. He chamfered around the hole in this guy, which is very comfortable to the finger. But if you're not spidey flicking it, and say you're trying to slow roll it, whenever I get right here, my finger wants to slide off of it. But, you know, once you open and close it 1,000 times like I did, you get used to it. It becomes second nature. And you got to kind of think about the flip like that, just because it's not really gripping your thumb. See, I just kind of went off on that. Oh. It's not really gripping your thumb, but like I said, you'll get used to it. I think the only, the one thing that, you know, that kind of bugged me just because of my hands and how beat up they are, might not be an issue for you at all. And I learned a different method to get around it. Is, as you can see, the cutout for the lock side is just barely raised above the show side scale. And it's also, there's no texture right here on the lock side to keep you from sliding on there. So, you know, whenever I was using my thumb like that, it started kind of aggravating my thumb. But, you know, it doesn't take much for my thumbs to be aggravated. And, but I did notice if you take the fat of your thumb, I like using this a lot, and push it over like that, I had no problems. And that's how I, you know, that's how I do it all the time now. It's easier, faster, and a lot more comfortable for me. And what would be a great fix on it, I think, is either to come down on that like show side a little bit more, so you got, you know, or a little bit more up here, so you have a little bit more sticking out. Or I don't know if you have enough thickness on the scales to do that, but to do something like this, where you have those milled out little pockets right there, so you can easily get your thumb in there. But like I said, it's definitely not a deal breaker. It was easy to work around that and now be able to use it without a problem. And the last thing is not something that I noticed a lot. Whenever I was doing my wood shavings, that's how I test my ergos. I was doing it, and I was doing it with different grips. I came up here and choked up. When I choked up, I had really good control. I choked up like this so I could push down. That was really comfortable for me. But in some spots, whenever I was holding back like this in the hammer grip, the back side of this clip was hitting my hand, but it wasn't, you know, unbearable or anything like that. But it wasn't hard for me to readjust and not feel it at all. Like right now, I'm not feeling it at all. It's actually, as you can see, it's sitting right on the outside of my hands. And there you go. I have a medium-sized hand, and that's what I have left. So I don't know if you have extra large hands. This knife the handle might be a little too small for you if you don't mind that. I mean, it fills out my hand just nice. But those are the real nitpicks that I had to really kind of dive in there to get. So overall, I think this knife is an absolute home run. $315, in my opinion, for what you're getting. All the, the exotic steel, the professional heat treat on there, all the Thai hardware, all of the goodies in here. To me, it's worth $315. But that's each their own. If you don't, then that's, that's your opinion. So I want to know what y'all think about this knife in the comment section. If you were at Blade Show and you were able to check it out, let me know and tell me what you thought about it. Let me know which one of the quiet carry knives that I own, which one is your favorite out of the bunch. Is it the Chase? Is it the IQ? Is it the Weston? All these are great knives. And I even have this guy right here, the Current. Which one's your favorite out of the bunch? I love them all. I will say this one probably gets carried the most just because of its size and just the sheer performance of the L-Max on this guy. I like it a whole lot. But this guy has been bumping this guy out of the pocket a lot. But this would be a dedicated gentleman's carry. This is going to be a dedicated EDC. Very nice. This one just made me excited. So let me know what you think. Let me know if you're going to be getting one of these when they hit his site. If they haven't already, they will be hitting his site very soon. He said. Like I said, Urban EDC Supplies is supposed to have them in their Wednesday drop. So if you want one of these real bad, keep an eye out. Jump on that drop so you can pick one up at Urban EDC Supplies. So there you go. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up so I know you enjoyed it, so I can keep making this type of content for you guys and girls. And if you're not already, hit that subscribe button. While you're at it, hit that bell notification button so you don't miss any of my videos. And I hope everybody's having an absolutely wonderful day, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.